All right, now to that Plymouth Township couple accused of using hundreds of illegal workers in a secret staffing scheme for their plumbing business.
And that couple's business reportedly earned tens of millions of dollars. 7 News Detroit obtained a copy of the criminal complaint accusing the couple of conspiracy, transporting and harboring unauthorized aliens, and money laundering.
7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham is talking to a neighboring business and getting insight into the case from a former federal prosecutor.
This is the business in question that has a Metro Detroit couple in hot water with federal investigators.
It's not just simply an immigration case that's charged, it's also money laundering.
And these are the federal documents investigators say detail the inner workings of the plumbing empire built by Moises Orduna-Rios and his wife Raquel over a 5-year period. The Plymouth Township couple owned Orduna Plumbing, Manpower Supply, and allegedly hired undocumented workers, took their passports, and crammed them into tight living quarters. These photos from the criminal complaint. The federal complaint focuses on Rochester, New York, but Michigan, Ohio, and North Carolina are also mentioned as places the company operates. According to the complaint, out of 253 workers, only 6 were in the U.S. legally and permitted to work. The complaint claims the husband and wife generated $74 million in their plumbing business that was based out of Michigan.
So whenever you use money that is unlawful and you deposit it into a bank and you manipulate the banking system, that's money laundering. And that's what the government's alleging here.
Former federal prosecutor Matthew Schneider reviewed the 27-page complaint, which mentions investigators interviewing the workers on numerous occasions and the company's use of the WhatsApp messaging app.
In this case, you've got physical evidence, statement of the people arrested, and the government was listening to the communications of the defendants. So you actually have all 3 of those things. And whenever you have a criminal defendant speaking and being recorded, and the government has that evidence, that's extremely powerful, and the burden on that is really hard to overcome.
Boy. So we got to talk about another wild story. A lot of wild stories that we've been talking about this week. This time involving illegal immigrants, right? More illegals, okay? And some business owners of Plymouth, Michigan, who have been charged with conspiracy, transporting, and harboring unauthorized aliens, aka illegal immigrants, for commercial advantage or private financial gain, conspiracy to bring in, harbor, and transport unauthorized aliens, employment of at least 10 unauthorized aliens within a 12-month period. So what we have here is a couple that ran a plumbing company that operated across multiple states, and they were employing and housing hundreds of illegal immigrants, and they have been busted by the FBI. And I want to talk about it because I feel like stories like this are so common, and this is why you're seeing so many of these liberal cities, like for example Charlotte, where the illegals are going missing, right, due to the ICE raids. All of a sudden, these people, they're not showing up to work, right? Why are they not showing up to work? Well, they're not showing up to work because they're in the country illegally, right? So without further ado, let's get into this because I think that this is very common. This is a huge problem in this country.
30 involving a Metro Detroit couple accused of employing nearly 250 undocumented workers. They were found at a plumbing company in Plymouth. Fox 2's Lauren Edwards is live in Plymouth now with that story. Lauren.
Roop, I can tell you that we've been digging into this all day, and the couple lives over in Plymouth, and they are facing serious charges and serious time behind bars if they are convicted of these charges. But let's break this all down. Let's get into some of these details. Now, Fox 2 visited the home over in Plymouth, knocking on their door. No one opened the door, but spoke through the door, saying that they are not interested at this time with speaking with the news media. Now, according to the Department of Justice, U.S. Attorney's Office,
Look at this.
out of
a Mexico flag, right? A Mexico flag. That to me, guilt, right? That implies guilt. A Mexican flag. Fascinating. At least they got the American flag above the Mexican flag. But it just tells you the type of people that we're dealing with here.
The Western District of New York. The couple was investigated between January 2022 and August 2025. Their names, 36-year-old Moises Orduna-Rios and 30-year-old Raquel Orduna-Rios. They operated Orduna Plumbing, a national company based here in Michigan. DOJ alleges that they made $74 million while employing 253 people, many of them who were undocumented workers. And allegedly, the workers lived in overcrowded housing houses and hotel rooms. Then Tuesday, the couple was arrested and officially charged with conspiracy, transporting and harboring unauthorized aliens for commercial advantage or private financial gain, money laundering, and others. Fox 2 reached out to attorney Todd Perkins, who's tried cases in federal court. He's not in any way connected to this particular case, but he shared his thoughts about how he sees it all unfolding.
How do I see it coming down? You know, it's going to be based upon the witnesses that they have. They indicated in the complaint I saw, you know, it's a 27-page complaint, and I saw that they had person being alien number 11, 12. So it says to me that they have a multitude of different individuals. How many of these individuals will be consistently stating and supporting the allegations? And it indicated that in this business, they checked the employment records, and apparently only 5 were legally present or had work visas or were citizens. I don't know specifically. Wow. So, you know, that's the crux of the case, is their status and their ability to work.
So you're talking about over 200 workers, a vast majority of them, right? A vast majority not here legally, working under the table. And apparently they were packing these illegals in hotels. We're going to go over some of the text messages because, again, this is a wild story. But they were packing these illegals in hotels. And, yeah, I mean, they were running a whole operation. Now, again, this is the problem that we currently have in this country. When you talk about the job market, right? People say, oh, there are no jobs. No, there are jobs. It's just the illegals are working the jobs, right? The illegals are working the job. Deporting these illegals opens up jobs for Americans. Now, I'm going to say this as well, too. There has to be a balance. There got to be a balance. Because, I mean, you making $75 million employing illegals. I mean, let's be real. If they employed Americans, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe they make 50 million, right? Or they make 40 million. But that's still a lot of money, right? Even if you got to pay the workers a little bit more. Even if you got to pay them a little bit more. Regardless, those are jobs that Americans should be working. All of these illegals that are being deported, that are working these jobs, I see that as opportunity. That's opportunity. That's opportunity for an American to work that job. And that's what we need. We have to have Americans working these jobs. We don't need illegals to work these jobs. We have to get Americans off the couch. Apparently, we got 7+ million unemployed men in this country. Get them off the system. Get them off the government. Get them off of welfare. Right? This is why we need to cut back. And make people get some jobs. Right? Get out there and work. So, I'm just saying, there's a lot of opportunity that is coming open, right? People talking about ain't no jobs hiring. Oh, there's some jobs. There's some job openings. You just got to want to work them.
Fox 2 will be keeping an eye on this case, and if you would like to get a good look at that complaint, just head to fox2detroit.com. I'm Lauren Edwards, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, and we know that these are the 250 involved, but on top of that, are they looking into the possibility that they've done this before or they've worked with other people who are undocumented as well?
Roop, I can tell you at this time that there are just so many unanswered questions. As I said, we've been digging into it all day, and we're wondering the same thing. You know, is there a past with this? What else is going on in this? What else don't we know? But we just know at this time about what's stated in that 27-page complaint, that they have accused of hiring over 200 of those undocumented workers, and 200 people, many of them who are undocumented workers, and they're just looking at the status and what exactly went on.
All right, Lauren Edwards for us live tonight. Thank you for that live report.
Wow. Incredible. Incredible. So I want to read some of these messages, right? Because the investigation involved the feds wiretapping to listen to conversations between various plumbing employees and Orduna-Rios, who they already knew was boss of the company. So when it comes to the houses and the hotels, according to the criminal complaint, federal agents retrieved messages that Orduna-Rios sent to his employees titled, quote, houses and hotels, telling them they were all responsible for keeping the houses clean, not to mark the walls or dirty the homes, and that they were responsible for the bills in some of the homes. He also sent hotel rules stating, quote, do not leave the van with mud on your shoes. Do not leave trash behind when you leave the room. They charge me for that. Do not set off any alarm. They charge me if they notice. Who is they, right? I guess it's the hotel. Was the hotel aware that this guy was housing illegals, right? I think that the people who own that hotel think that they should be under investigation and charges as well, too. On February 1st, 2025, came the message warning of ICE raids. Quote, gentlemen, with all the controversy that is going on, it's better to get ready, drive the speed limit, limit yourself, go into the store, only do minimum running of errands, and do not have any gatherings such as barbecues. Yeah, so basically, these text messages acknowledge that, yeah, I know what I'm doing is wrong, right? I know that employing these illegals is wrong, okay? That's essentially what this dude is acknowledging. The message continued, quote, don't worry about the jobs I was researching, and they can't enter the projects unless they have an order and have notified the construction company. At any time that someone tells me that they're going to arrive, I will let them know. Analysts think this won't last long, but for greater security, everyone be really careful. Yeah, this dude found out, right? He found out. He thought the Trump administration was playing. And see, again, I have to stress, this is why people to the right of me who continue to claim that the mass deportations are fake, oh, Trump's not doing enough, they're not living in reality, right? They're not living in reality when it comes to this, okay? Trump is doing everything that he said he was going to do and more, right? After citing this message in his affidavit, a federal agent noted that immigration enforcement activities had increased around this time and that Orduna-Rios was warning his workers to be careful, but he was also advising them that they had rights. The agent wrote, citing what he said appeared to be a copy and pasted message from an immigration website. It stated, quote, undocumented immigrants in the United States have certain immigration law rights, including the right to due process, the right to a lawyer, and the right to remain silent. These rights apply to everyone, regardless of their immigration status. Hilarious. 9 months after sending that message, as the feds continue to scrutinize his company records, deposits, and communications, Orduna-Rios and his wife, who is the company treasurer, were arrested. Yeah, they found out, right? They found out. They were packing illegals in hotels and homes and having them work for slave wages. Incredible. And they made $74 million doing this. Now you can see why these companies want the illegals to stay here so much, right? You can see why. You see why. But not because they love the illegals. It's because they want slave labor, right? They want cheap labor. And the businesses that are employing these illegals, they're racking up $74 million. $74 million. This is like a modern day plantation. Modern day plantation. That's what it is. That's what it is. Don't ever let Democrats tell you that the party's flipped, right? Because every time you look, they're showing you that they're the same Democrats that they were back in the day, right? Doing slave times, right? Because it's Democrats, they're the ones that like, oh, who's going to pick our cotton, right? Who's going to do our slave labor, right? They're the ones that are boohoo, whine, and crying. I'm just saying, some things never change. So, yeah, I mean, these people found out that nobody's above the law, including business owners. Made $74 million, so multi-millionaires. They built a damn good business, right? But a business built off the backs of illegal immigrants. And now you can see why people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, right, who apparently employs illegals, right? You can see why they freak out so much about Trump deporting the illegals. Oh, no, we got to stop. We're going too far, right? Yeah, that is what people say when, again, they're employing illegals, right? So I'm just saying, maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene, maybe she might want to slow her roll, right? Before she finds herself getting indicted, right? In a similar fashion like these individuals. I'm just saying, because she's the one that said, hey, we're going too far. We're deporting the illegals. And she owns a construction company. Yeah, I think she said that because of situations like this, because of stories like this. Again, they're racking up. They are racking up because of slave labor. That's what's happening. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.